10 லட்சமாக உயர்த்தியதற்கு எங்களுடைய நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். இந்திய உச்சநீதிமன்றத்தின் மாண்புமிகு நீதிபதிகள், சென்னை உயர்நீதிமன்றத்தின் மாண்புமிகு தலைமை நீதிபதிகள் மற்றும் சக நீதிபதிகள், முன்னாள் நீதிபதிகள் ஆகியோரின் வருகை இந்த நிகழ்வை இன்னும் மறக்க முடியாததாக மாற்றியுள்ளது. அவர்களின் கடின முயற்சியே ஒட்டுமொத்த நாட்டிலும் தமிழ்நாட்டில் ஆழமான சட்ட தாக்கத்தை ஏற்படுத்தி வருகிறது. மாண்புமிகு அனைத்து நீதிபதிகளுக்கும் நான் வரவேற்கிறேன். நான் இங்கிருக்கும் அனைவரையும் மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை இருகரம் கூப்பி வரவேற்கிறேன். மேலும் சங்கம் மற்றும் ஒட்டுமொத்த சட்ட நலத்தின் மேல் வளர்ச்சிக்காக பிரமுகர்கள் பேசவிருக்கும் சிறந்த வார்த்தைகளை கவனிக்க ஆவலுடன் காத்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறேன். அனைத்து வழக்கறிஞர் சங்க விழாக்களிலும் சங்க தலைவர்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டின் முதலமைச்சர்களிடம் ஏதாவது ஒரு கோரிக்கை வைப்பார்கள். ஆனால் கண்டிப்பாக நான் கோரிக்கை வைக்க மாட்டேன். ஏனென்றால் முதலமைச்சர்களுடைய இதயத்தில் வழக்கறிஞர்களுக்கு இன்னும் எப்பொழுதும் ஒரு இடம் உண்டு. அதனால் கோரிக்கைகள் இல்லாமலேயே முதலமைச்சர் அவர்கள் நல திட்டங்களை அறிவிப்பார்கள் என்ற எதிர்பார்ப்புடன் அனைவரையும் வருகவர் என்று கூறி வரவேற்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you, sir. Your vision and leadership truly set the tone for today's event, and we are grateful for your warm welcome. இப்போது மெட்ராஸ் பார் அசோசியேஷனின் 160 வருட பயணத்தை கண்முன்னே காணும் வாய்ப்பை பெற உள்ளோம். Vignettes of 160 years of journey of the Madras Bar Association by Thiru N.L. Raja, Senior Advocate.
Honorable Chief Minister of the State of Tamil Nadu, Thiru M. K. Stalin, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Justice Thiru M. Sundaresh, Justice Thiru K.V. Vishwanathan, Justice Thiru R. Mahadevan, Honorable Chief Justice of Madras High Court, Justice Thiru Sriram, my good friends of the bar, Mr. P.S. Raman, Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, Thiru A.R.L. Sundaresan, Additional Solicitor General of India, dignitaries gathered here today, Mr. K. Parasaran, who has graced the occasion with his presence, Mr. M. Ravindran, former Additional Solicitor General of India, judges of the High Court, senior advocates, members of the legal fraternity, and my friends. When the organizers of the event told me that I would have to make a presentation of the 160-year history of MBA in 5 minutes, I felt like a student of Tamil being asked to make a summary of Silappadigaram in 2 minutes. So it's a tall order, but I shall try to do my best. However, the MBA committee assured me that these timelines are merely recommendatory and not mandatory. In any case, as a measure of abundant caution, I place before this August gathering a petition to condone any possible breach by me of the timeline stipulated in the invitation card. Thank you. So, it all started 160 years from yesterday. The Madras Bar Association was actually formed on 14th of March 1865. So yesterday it completed 160 years. This short presentation, this short presentation will attempt to cover the following, the formative years of MBA. You can see that there. The composition of membership of MBA, issues that engage the association's attention, visit of dignitaries to the association, and some events organized by the association. Next. So let's look at the formative years. Next. The Madras Bar Association, which is one of the oldest professional bodies in the country, completed 160 years in March 2025, on the 14th of March 2025 to be exact. The Madras High Court was the third High Court to be established in the country. It was established on a day that would become significant in the history of the country, 15th August 1862. But the Bar Association that was formed in the Madras High Court on 14th March 1865 was the first professional body of lawyers to be established in any part of India, which then included Bangladesh and Pakistan. In a resolution when it was passed, when it was formed, it was called the Bar Association. But through a resolution which was passed on 30th of April 1898, the name was changed from Bar Association to the Madras Bar Association, by which name it has been known since. The Bar Association first met in March 1865, and 7 eminent barristers attended the meeting. The primary purpose of the association was to represent the interest of the British barristers to the government, as also to maintain certain professional standards amongst the barristers. And it was also because the entire legal system, as we must understand, was designed for English judges and English barristers. In fact, in 1862 and even in 1892, the High Court only functioned 12 weeks in a year. That's all. The functioning of the court, when the weather was more agreeable, they functioned for 4 to 5 weeks. When the weather was hot, they all went back to England, so it was only 2 to 3 weeks. So when people complain and say that judges, lawyers take 4 weeks off during summer, I tell them it's a journey, we are getting there, but we started only with 12 weeks, now we are nearly about 45 weeks or 46 weeks. So from the perusal, also we find that from a perusal of the records, that there were resolutions that were passed by the association frequently to condemn lawyers, barristers, who were making payments for bringing briefs. This problem of touting was a huge problem in those days, and many of the resolutions that were passed by the Bar Association were condemning its own persons. In fact, one barrister was so imaginative, a barrister called Valley, that he decided to set up practice in Tanjore. So he went to Tanjore, but how will people in Tanjore know that the English barrister has set up shop there? So he caught hold of the station master, printed pamphlets to say that person who has a problem, please contact Valley. Right? The station master therefore used to distribute this pamphlet to every passenger who alighted from the train. So Early Norton, who was a towering figure, got very angry with this and decided to initiate disciplinary action against him. And he said, "Who are you? I am enrolled at the Inner Temple in England. You have no authority to take any action against me." But Early Norton persisted and ensured that he was debarred. So this is the first case of a barrister being suspended first and then debarred from practice in Madras Presidency. Next. So Early Norton, again, we had some very towering personalities like Early Norton. Early Norton was a member of the Madras Bar Association, was a great advocate and champion of the principle of giving more right to Indians to govern themselves. He identified himself strongly with the interests of the Indians in this regard. He was associated with the Indian National Congress from its early stages. He was appointed as a member of the committee which drafted the constitution for the Congress party. So a member of the Madras Bar Association was principally responsible for drafting the bylaws of the Congress party. And these are memorable words which he said when he was accused by the British government of acting against the interests of the government. He says, "If it be sedition, gentlemen, to rebel against all wrong, if it be sedition to insist that people should have a fair share in the administration of their own country and affairs, if it be sedition to resist class tyranny, to raise my voice against oppression, to mutiny against injustice, to insist upon a hearing before sentence, to uphold the liberties of the individual, to vindicate our common right to gradual but ever advancing reform. If this be sedition, I am right glad to be called as a seditionist, and triply glad when I look around me to know and feel I am ranked one among such a magnificent array of seditionists." That's the type of respect that he had for the members of our bar who were freedom fighters in those days. So next part is, what was the composition of the membership like? The association has membership registers from 1899. And if you look at the membership register, this is a membership register in 1899. It had all of about 14 members, of which even I am surprised to find that there were 2 Indian members. And then, because it was the preserve of British barristers at that time, but slowly they admitted Indians who had qualified and become barristers. Next. This quite swelled to about 29 memberships, and you see some names which we are later familiar with. Dr. Swaminathan, my senior, Mr. Govind Swaminathan's father, was a member, and we had T. Prakasam, who went on to become the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, the first Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. So the membership swelled gradually, and in about 1943, it had about 48 members. Next. So this is the membership in 1943. We see that the element of Indian barristers is slowly swelling, and they have a say in the running of the association. Thirdly, the third part of this, what were the issues that engaged the association's attention? You will see that on 2/2/1948, the MBA passed a resolution expressing sorrow at the demise of Mahatma Gandhi. Then, interestingly, you have a circular by a lady called M.A. Janaki. M.A. Janaki is the first senior advocate of the Madras High Court. You look at the, and she sends a note. I am not very clear. I looked at the records. I am not very clear. I don't know whether she was a member of MBA, but she seems to have sent a note to MBA and asked them to consider certain issues which impacted women, and the association agrees to take it up and deliberates. So, slowly, we also have women coming into the profession and finding a place for themselves in the profession. On 25/2/1948, MBA discusses the Madras Suppression of Disorder Bill. The MBA has always been concerned about issues that affect personal liberty, and therefore it discusses the provisions of the Suppression of Disorder Bill. Interestingly, on 9/3/1956, which this is a resolution seeking continuance of English as the language of the Union in the state. So there is a request that please continue English as a language of Union in the state, which has been passed by the resolution. On 29/10/1958, there is a notice of a meeting to consider registering MBA as a society. That's very interesting. Right from the time MBA was formed, it was only an association of persons. This is because the British barristers, there was a ban which prohibited them from entering into partnerships. So they were not very sure that if the MBA was registered as a society, whether it would be treated as a partnership by Inner Temple. So they did not want to run the risk, so they never registered MBA as a society. But in 1958, there is a proposal to consider registering MBA as a society, all for the reason they wanted to install a collection box telephone. And for that, the applicant had to be a society or a legal entity. So they thought that we could register themselves as a society. But interestingly, this resolution was turned down. So we never registered as a society till about 4 to 5 years back. 11/1/1978, there is a notice to discuss some issues relating to appointment of judges. Please see this resolution. It's very interesting. It says that we are protesting against a judge being appointed and asked to function for 2 years as an additional judge, because for those 2 years as an additional judge, he is not going to be independent. He is going to be at the mercy of the powers that will have to confirm him. So for 2 years of that judge's period as a judge, his independence will be affected. So he asked the government to consider that. But unfortunately, that is a system which is still continuing. On 22/3/1978, there is a resolution against creation of a bench of the High Court of Madurai. Now, that's very interesting resolution. It's a very detailed resolution. I'm personally glad that this resolution ultimately got defeated and the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court was established, and which is doing phenomenal work. But this was a resolution that was passed by the MBA. The next resolution is even more interesting, and I placed this resolution before this August gathering, especially our Honorable Chief Minister and the judges of the Supreme Court. This is a notice of a meeting to discuss establishment of a bench of the Supreme Court of India at Madras. Unfortunately, the Madurai bench resolution was defeated, but this resolution to establish a bench of the Supreme Court at Madras, this has not become a reality. That's why I'm placing it for your consideration, sir. Please see what can be done about this. The next portion is about the visit of dignitaries to the association. You have Right Honorable Earl Attlee. As you all know, Right Honorable Earl Attlee was the Prime Minister of England. After the World War, everybody was surprised that Winston Churchill got defeated. He got defeated by Earl Attlee. And Earl Attlee graced the association by his presence and delivered a speech when Mr. Chellasamy was the president of the association. Then Lord Denning visited the association on 17/12/1963. This is an invitation card which was circulated to the members on the occasion of the visit of Lord and Lady Denning. And then you have a meeting, a photograph of the meeting in which Lord Denning is addressing the gathering, and the members intently, the next slide you will see that the members are intently watching the proceedings and listening to his speech. In 1965 was a centenary celebrations. I do not find from the records any celebrations by the barristers for having completed 25 years of the Madras Bar Association, nothing for 50 years, nothing in the 75th year, but in the 100th year, we had very grand celebrations which were presided over by MC Settlebar. MC Settlebar had great fondness for Madras because what had happened is at some time in 1960, there was a proposal by the Union government to merge the office of the Attorney General of India and the Law Minister of the Union. And they said that the Law Minister will also be the Attorney General of the country. The first Bar Association to protest against that was the Madras Bar Association. And they sent a protest even before the Bombay Bar Association protested against that. The Madras Bar Association protested against that, and that move was given up. So MC Settlebar in his book says that after Bombay High Court, the High Court which he deeply revered was the Madras High Court. And this is on the same occasion, the speech by Mr. Govind Swaminathan, who was then one of the members of the association. In 1994, there is a reception for the US Supreme Court judges who visited the association. And it was during this that there were a lot of very interesting papers that were submitted. So that is, again, a very important landmark. Some events organized by the association, I said that after 100 years, we had the 125th year celebrations of the Madras Bar Association. Then you had the 135th year celebrations of the Madras Bar Association. Then there is members at a tea party. Please look at their sartorial elegance. They are all dressed like Englishmen, which is what you will find in the next photograph also. We have Mr. Gandhi, Mr. Jagadish, all this changed, and you look at the sartorial elegance recently, and we don Indian robes. And our functions are also, we started celebrating Pongal in a grand way, and therefore, an association which started as being a preserve of English barristers has now become completely Indianized. The next slide is the celebration of the 150 years by Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, who was the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. And during this period, it is just not members of the legal profession who were invited to deliver speeches. There were people from various walks of life. In fact, in the earlier photographs, you find actor Sivakumar in the picture because he was delivering a lecture on good health and how to maintain good health. So these were some of the interesting events. As I said, 5 minutes is too short a time, but I've tried to do my best, I'm sure. And today there is going to be a book released where one chapter deals with MBA's petitions, PALs that have been filed in the Supreme Court, which have been responsible for maintaining the independence of the judiciary. So especially the tribunalization of justice, the problems that it threw up, and how to confront them, how to deal with them, were dealt with in those writ petitions which the MBA filed before the Supreme Court. In the book, we have set out about 8 or 9 such litigations, which are the backbone of the manner in which tribunalization must be dealt with by the country. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Special thanks to Thiru N.L. Raja avargal, the author of Iconic Splendor, documenting the architectural marvel of the Madras High Court, for interestingly curating and presenting this invaluable tribute to the tireless journey of the Madras Bar Association. Mikka Nandri. அடுத்ததாக நமது பிதாமகர் பத்ம விபூஷன் முன்னாள் அட்டர்னி ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் இந்தியா முன்னாள் ராஜ்யசபா உறுப்பினர் திரு கேசவ பராசரன் அவர்களுக்கு வாழ்நாள் சாதனையாளர் விருது வழங்கப்பட உள்ளது. விருதை வழங்குபவர் திரு P.S. ராமன், அட்வொகேட் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் தமிழ்நாடு. அவர்கள் இருவரையும் பணிவன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம். And to mark this conferment, திரு P.S. ராமன் will read the official citation. முன்னிருக்கையில் அமர்ந்திருக்கும் நமது பிதாமகர் திரு கே பராசரன் அவர்கள் இப்பொழுது அவர்கள் இருக்கையில் அருகாமையில் இருந்தே இந்த பரிசினை விருதினை பெற்றுக்கொள்வார்.
The Madras Bar Association 160th Anniversary Celebration Lifetime Achievement Award. The Madras Bar Association is privileged to confer the Lifetime Achievement Award upon Sri K. Parasaran, a legal luminary of unparalleled distinction, in recognition of his extraordinary contribution to the Indian legal fraternity and his unwavering commitment to justice and dharma. Born on October 9th, 1927, Sri Parasaran's illustrious career spans over more than 7 decades, during which he has adorned the highest echelons of the legal profession. As Advocate General of Tamil Nadu from 1976 and 1977, Solicitor General of India from 1980 to 1983, and the Attorney General of India, Attorney General for India from 1983 to 1989. He exemplified legal acumen and integrity. His masterful advocacy in landmark cases, including the Ayodhya land dispute, where he represented Lord Ram at Ram Lila with erudition and reverence for tradition, has left an indelible mark on India's judicial history. A recipient of the Padma Bhushan in 2003 and Padma Vibhushan in 2011, Sri Parasaran's scholarship in law, enriched by his deep understanding of ancient Indian texts and jurisprudence, has earned him the epithet Pitamaha of the Indian Bar. His nomination to the Rajya Sabha in 2012 and his role as a trustee of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra further underscores his stature as a statesman and a jurist. The Madras Bar Association salutes Sri K. Parasaran for his profound dedication to the rule of law, his mentorship of generations of advocates, and his enduring legacy as a beacon of justice and righteousness. This citation is a humble tribute to his monumental service to the legal profession and the nation, dated 15th March 2025.
மிக்க நன்றி. May I request for a thunderous applause as we honor a true titan of the Indian legal fraternity, Sri K. Parasaran. திரு கே பராசரன் அவர்களுக்கு நினைவு பரிசும் வழங்கப்படுகிறது. நன்றி. Our next segment is the conferment of the Lifetime Achievement Award on yet another towering legal personality, a man whose name is etched in the annals of constitutional jurisprudence, who is none other than Sri K.K. Venugopal, our former Attorney General of India. We now request Mr. V. Vijay Narayanan, our former Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, nephew of Sri K.K. Venugopal, to come on to the stage to receive the award on behalf of Sri K.K. Venugopal. விருதை வழங்க அடிஷனல் சாலிசிட்டர் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் இந்தியா திரு ஏ.ஆர்.எல். சுந்தரேசன் அவர்களையும் மேடைக்கு அழைக்கிறோம். I request திரு சுந்தரேசன் to read the official citation to mark the conferment.
I deem it a proud privilege conferred on me to read this citation and hand it over. Thank you very much. Madras Bar Association, MBA 160th Anniversary Celebrations, Lifetime Achievement Award. The Madras Bar Association is honored to bestow the Lifetime Achievement Award upon Sri K.K. Venugopal, a titan of the Indian Bar, whose exceptional career has profoundly shaped the landscape of constitutional law and justice in India. Born on September 6, 1931, Sri K.K. Venugopal's journey in law, spanning over 7 decades, is a testament to his brilliance, perseverance, and dedication. Enrolled as an advocate in 1954, he served as Attorney General for India from 2017 to 2022. His appearances in several high-profile cases as amicus curiae reflect his mastery over complex legal matters. A champion of judicial reforms, Sri K.K. Venugopal has advocated for systematic improvements, proposing courts of appeal to enhance access to justice. His international contributions, such as advising the royal government of Bhutan on its constitution and counseling Sri Lanka on devolution of powers, highlight his global influence. As the founder of M.K. Nambiar SARC Law Center and patron of SARC Law, he has nurtured legal scholarship across borders. The Madras Bar Association celebrates Sri K.K. Venugopal for his towering intellect, his fearless advocacy, and his lifelong devotion in upholding the Constitution and the dignity of the bar. This citation stands as a tribute to his extraordinary legacy and his inspirational presence in the legal community. Dated March 15, 2025, M. Bhaskar, President, S. Thiruvengadam, Secretary.
Thank you. Honoring our dignitaries of today's event is more than a tradition. நமது மரியாதைக்குரிய விருந்தினர்களுக்கு மெட்ராஸ் பார் அசோசியேஷன் சார்பில் பூங்கொத்து மற்றும் நினைவு பரிசு வழங்கப்பட உள்ளது. நமது மாண்புமிகு தமிழக முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கு மெட்ராஸ் பார் அசோசியேஷன் பிரசிடென்ட் திரு பாஸ்கர் அவர்கள் பொன்னாடை மற்றும் நினைவு பரிசினை வழங்கி கௌரவிப்பார். திரு ஜே ரவீந்திரன், அடிஷனல் அட்வொகேட் ஜெனரல் ஆஃப் தமிழ்நாடு அவர்கள் மாண்புமிகு முதல்வர் அவர்களுக்கு புத்தகங்களை நினைவு பரிசாக அளிக்கிறார். நன்றி. திரு எஸ் திருவேங்கடம், Secretary, Madras Bar Association, will present a bouquet with a memento to the Honorable Justice திரு M.M. Sundaresh, Judge, Supreme Court of India. நன்றி. Mr. Siva Shanmugam, Treasurer, Madras Bar Association, will present a bouquet and a memento to the Honorable Justice Thiru K.V. Viswanathan, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Thank you. Mr. Nedunchediyan, Librarian, Madras Bar Association, will present a bouquet and a memento to the Honorable Justice Thiru R. Mahadevan, Judge, Supreme Court of India. நன்றி. Our beloved senior advocate Thiru T.V. Ramanajam avargal will be presenting a bouquet and memento to our Honorable Chief Justice of Madras High Court Thiru K.R. Sriram avargal. Senior Advocate Thiru T.V. Ramanujam will be presenting the bouquet and memento to our Honorable Chief Justice of Madras High Court. நன்றி. மிஸ் தாக்ஷாயினி ரெட்டி அவர்கள் நமது மாண்புமிகு தமிழக சட்டத்துறை அமைச்சர் திரு எஸ் ரகுபதி அவர்களுக்கு மலர் கொத்து மற்றும் நினைவு பரிசினை வழங்குவார். நன்றி. It is now time for the moment of great significance, one that calls for deep reflection and inspiration. It is our privilege to invite to the podium a distinguished jurist, a guardian of justice, and the esteemed head of our state judiciary, the Honorable Chief Justice of Madras High Court, Thiru K.R. Sriram avargal, who will be delivering his presidential address.
The Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Stalin avargal, the chief guest of this occasion, Honorable Justice M.M. Sundaresh, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice R. Mahadevan, Judge, Supreme Court of India, sister and brother judges of the Madras High Court, Thiru S. Raghupati, Honorable Minister for Law, Government of India, Thiru R. K. Parasaran, Senior Advocate and former Attorney General for India, Thiru P. S. Raman, Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, Thiru A. R. L. Sundareshan, Additional Solicitor General of India, Thiru Hassan Mohammed Jinnah, Public Prosecutor, Thiru N.L. Raja, Senior Advocate and other learned senior advocates, Thiru M. Bhaskar, President of the Madras Bar Association, Thiru S. Thiruvengadam, Secretary, Madras Bar, members of the bar, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, எல்லாவருக்கும் மாலை வணக்கங்கள். I practiced it quite a bit, but I still made the mistake. We gathered to celebrate two significant milestones: the 75th anniversary of the Constitution of India and 160 years of the Madras Bar Association. This event honors the legacy of the Bar Association and the dedication of our legal community to justice, integrity, and the rule of law. 75 years ago, our founding fathers presented the Constitution, a living document that embodies the hopes and aspirations of Indians. It serves as a moral compass guiding our pursuit of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. As we celebrate, let us remember the visionaries behind it and reaffirm our commitment to its principles, ensuring justice and rights for all. Established in 1865, the Madras Bar Association is one of the country's oldest and most prestigious associations. For 160 years, it has nurtured legal excellence, contributed to jurisprudence, and upheld the rule of law. As we honor this journey, we pay tribute to the legal luminaries and members of the bar who have dedicated themselves to justice and shaped the legal landscape of Tamil Nadu and the nation. Advocacy is mainly related to the power of speech. In this context, Kural number 643, I feel, is apposite. கேட்டார் பிணிக்கு தகை அவாய் கேளாரும் வேட்ப மொழிவது ஆம் சொல். மேற்கூறிய திருக்குறள் நமது சட்ட வாதுரைகளுக்கு பொருத்தமானதாக இருக்கும் என்று நான் கருதுகிறேன். இந்த குறளில் திருவள்ளுவர் நமது வார்த்தைகள் கேட்பவரின் கவனத்தை கவரவும் நம்ப தகுந்ததாகவும் இருக்க வேண்டும் என சுட்டிக்காட்டுகிறார். The aforesaid Kural would be important for our legal practice. In this Kural, Thiruvalluvar points out that our words should bind and convince not just those present, but also inspire those absent. This principle encourages us to transcend more legal arguments by connecting emotionally with clients, colleagues, and the community. Our discourse must resonate and highlight the seriousness of the issues we address. Thiruvalluvar calls us to elevate our communication, crafting compelling narratives that engage hearts and minds. Our arguments should be so impactful that those who miss them should regret their absence. As legal practitioners, all should strive for captivating eloquence and inspiring advocacy. We have the power to shape lives and elevate justice. Together, let us ensure that our contributions leave a lasting impact for future generations. Let us reflect on the significance of the Constitution. It is not just a legal framework but a moral compass guiding our pursuit of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. As we honor the visionaries who crafted the dynamic document 75 years ago, let us reaffirm our commitment to uphold its principles, ensuring that justice is accessible to all and that the rights of it enshrines are safeguarded. The Madras Bar Association stands as a pillar of legal excellence. For 160 years, it has nurtured remarkable legal minds and contributed immensely to the evolution of jurisprudence. This association has witnessed our legal landscape's transformation from colonial times to the present, always upholding the rule of law. It is a privilege to see two legal legends, Sri K. Parasaran and Sri Venugopal, senior advocates of the Supreme Court and former Attorney Generals for India, with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Their extraordinary contributions have set benchmarks for excellence, integrity, and professionalism, inspiring generations of lawyers. Today we celebrate their legacy and express our gratitude for their dedication to the field of law. Though throughout its 160 years of history, the Madras Bar Association has symbolized excellence, promoting advocacy, scholarship, and ethics, its contributions have significantly influenced our legal system, ensuring that justice remains achievable and fair for all. Reflecting on this journey requires acknowledging the contributions of many judges, attorneys, and legal professionals dedicated to upholding justice and equity. Their commitment has strengthened our judicial framework and inspired countless practitioners to attain high ethical standards. Legal practice is more than a job. It is a vocation dedicated to serving society and protecting the rights of the marginalized. This responsibility falls on both the lawyers and judges, whose roles are vital in upholding justice. As the world rapidly changes, the challenges faced by legal professionals have grown, making their contributions to a just and equitable society more essential than ever. The relationship between the bar and the bench is a cornerstone of our democracy. The bar presents cases to the court while the bench interprets the law and delivers justice, together forming the backbone of the legal system. As we commemorate this milestone, we must acknowledge the ongoing challenges posed by technology and globalization, including cybercrime, data security, environmental issues, and human rights violations, which require innovative legal responses. The Madras Bar Association, one of India's oldest and most respected bar associations, is uniquely positioned to address these issues through continuous education, interdisciplinary collaboration, and technological embrace. Enhancing access to justice for all remains crucial as we empower individuals to seek the remedies they deserve, ensuring fairness and equity for everyone. Historically, the Madras Bar Association has advocated for marginalized communities and has shown a commitment to social justice. Let us build upon this legacy and strive for an inclusive legal system. Congratulations to all members on this extraordinary achievement. Your dedication has shaped this bar's legacy. The Constitution of India and institutions like the Madras Bar Association are the foundations. Let us uphold justice, equality, and the rule of law with renewed commitment. I am sure the Madras Bar Association will continue to protect citizens' rights for many more years to come. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, sir. Your insights today have reinforced the core values of justice, integrity, and the evolving role of the judiciary in upholding law and delivering justice. Tirukural coming from you energized the entire atmosphere. நன்றி. அடுத்ததாக மாண்புமிகு உச்சநீதிமன்ற நீதியரசர் திரு ஆர் மகாதேவன் அவர்கள், சட்டம் என்பது வெறும் விதிகள் அல்ல, அது மனிதர்களுக்கு சரியான பாதையை காட்டும் ஒளிக்கூடு என்று தனது சிறந்த பணியால் நிரூபித்தவர். I now request the Honorable Justice Thiru R. Mahadevan, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to deliver his special address.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். The Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Thiru M.K. Stalin, Justice M.M. Sundaresh, Justice K.V. Viswanathan, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Justice K.R. Sriram, the Chief Justice, and my brother and sister judges of Madras High Court, the Honorable Minister of Law, Thiru Raghupati, Honorable Thiru K. Parasaran, former Attorney General, a constitutional veteran, Thiru P.S. Raman, Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, Thiru A.R.L. Sundaresan, Additional Solicitor General, Honorable C. Nahappan, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Paul Vasanta Kumar, former Judge, Jammu and Kashmir High Court, Honorable Justice Vaidyanathan, former Chief Justice, Meghalaya High Court, judicial officers, senior advocates, law officers, the President, Secretary, and the office bearers of Madras Bar Association, and all the esteemed guests present here. It is my delight and privilege to be part of this event that celebrates 75 years of Constitution of India, while also coinciding with the 160th years of Madras Bar Association, one of the oldest and honorable bar association of the country. It is the Constitution of India that has changed us all from subjects to citizens. The Constitution is not only a legal document that binds us all, but also, as I see it, an armor, shield, and sword all at once, as it not only protects our rights, both inherent and guaranteed under it, but also guards us against the onslaught of that which is prohibited under the Constitution. When the idea of freedom from colonial rule and independence was being considered, from an institutional point of view, it seemed as if the whole world was doubtful on how India as a democracy would even survive. Viewed from the lens of colonial historians, democracy as an idea was predicted to be a spectacular failure. However, the last 75 years has proved this utterly wrong. The founders of India's constitution were bestowed with formidable task of constituting India as a republic, and they faced several challenges. And historians after historians opine against democracy in India. But what carried us forward was the faith of the constitution makers and framers. The constitutional thinkers of time, including the famous Cambridge lawyer Ivor Jennings, was in favor of limiting the right to vote to a class of citizens based on literacy. However, the architect of our constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, frowned upon the idea of limiting franchise based on literacy. He argued that to limit the suffrage on account of illiteracy was a kind of perversity because literacy had first been denied to a segment of the population, and now that segment was being denied suffrage because it was illiterate. The constitution makers also felt that to presume that formal literacy was equivalent to one's capacity to make one's own choices was a fundamentally wrong proposition. Ultimately, the will of the people trumped over the predictions of the historians who were skeptical about granting universal adult franchise to all citizens. The last 75 years have proved that inbuilt in the Indian spirit has been the idea of self-rule, the idea to constitute ourselves into a democratic republic while being sovereign, the idea of being socialist in our approach, and ultimately the idea of being a secular nation. India being a multi-religious, multilingual, multicultural as a society, secularism, tolerance, and inclusivity have been woven into its fabric from the very beginning, secularism being formally included as a part of the preamble to the Constitution thereafter. Also, the framers of Indian Constitution were given this humongous task of constituting India against the backdrop of most historians and constitutional thinkers of the day, portraying India in negative light and trying to propagate the narrative that India had no past. But the Constitution of India emerged as one of the strongest acts of nation building. In doing so, the makers of the Constitution drew inspiration from the constitutions around the world and deliberated for almost 3 long years, starting from December 1946 to November 1949, when the Constitution was adopted. This they had to do amid civil war, one of the largest migrations in human history, and also handling the incorporation of as many as 600 princely states into the Indian Union. The constitution makers thus chose the best features of the constitutions around the world and made a constitution with such text, context, and grammar that would not only survive forever, but would also be flexible and transformative over the years by incorporating a chapter such as the directive principles of state policy. A sterling instance of such evaluation is the inclusion of the right to free and compulsory education as a fundamental right under Article 21A of the Constitution. It can also be said that our Constitution is one of the progressive constitutions in the world. To cite an example, the Constitution of USA was brought into force in 1778, 2 years after its independence, but the right to vote was granted to women only in the year 1920 by its 19th Amendment. Similarly, the Equal Right Amendments by which it was envisaged that women be granted right to equality is yet to become a reality, as it has not been passed till date, though the amendment was proposed as early as in 1972. However, the equality doctrine as incorporated in the Constitution of India has been gender neutral with specific clauses of non-discrimination on various grounds, importantly on the ground of gender and sex. The fact that the Constitution has seen so many amendments and yet stands strong shows its unshakable foundation, and at the same time its flexible as well as transformative character that adopts itself the lives of its citizens. And today is a momentous occasion for each one of us to celebrate. It is noteworthy here to mention and acknowledge the role played by the 15 in quotes, the 15 women who were part of 389 member constituent assembly. While their number seems small against a total of 389, their role has been noteworthy and significant, with each of them coming from a different social milieu, and Constitution of India bears the stamp of women's equal participation in nation building. It is in this context that I would like to emphasize that the Constitution of India is not just a legal document to be studied by lawyers, judges, and the courts, but it is a set of principles that governs every aspect of our lives. The silken thread of constitutional righteousness, morality, and rectitude are woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. From 1950 till now, the evaluation of constitutional law has been made possible by the minds at work at various levels by the judges, lawyers, and citizens alike. And this has brought out the malleable and organic nature and feature of the Constitution while keeping its basic foundation intact. It must be emphasized that the Supreme Court and High Courts have been alive to the needs of the changing times, and new rights like the right to privacy, the rights of transgenders, are instances of the fact that the constitutional courts in India have always been open to change in tune within constitutional contours and never failed to seize the epoch-making